Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Marcella, and this is our guest today, Justin.
Hi, Justin Graci, talent buyer for Live Nation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're at the House of Blues today in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Absolutely.
This is really awesome. You just watched me take 10 minutes to set all this up like a G. So
It's all good. Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about your role as being a talent buyer?
Yeah. So I've been the talent buyer here for 9 years. I started as a junior buyer. I transitioned into the senior or lead buyer or whatever back in 2019, right before the shutdowns and everything. But yeah, so since then I've been buying for here. I do, like I mentioned before, I do Bogarts in Cincinnati now as well, and then I also am doing the Bluestone in Columbus.
Yeah.
As a town buyer for Live Nation, I also do stuff at like Mahal's and the Grog Shop.
Oh yeah.
And a couple other venues sometimes. So yeah.
So are you the guy reaching out to the bands specifically? Or?
Yeah, most of my job entails working with booking agents. Working with booking agencies such as WME, CAA, Wasserman, etc. A lot of the bigger agencies.
Okay.
Mostly just phone calls and emails and booking shows. So,
right.
Yeah.
So do they have their artists that they work with? Like they have a catalog of artists?
Yeah, every booking agent has like their own roster.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the agencies have like a territorial where they have one person that's handling several of the agents in the office rosters for a region. So I work with a lot of like territorials at booking agencies as well as direct with the real booking agents.
Yeah. So how do you decide like what artists the House of Blues needs to perform?
It's mostly a routing situation. So I would say 90% or maybe less than 90% of the booking that happens here is based on a routed tour. So we have to get from here to here. Cleveland's in the middle, or let's do a 50-day tour. We're going to hit all these cities.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
So most of it is that. A lot of it is also reaching out and chasing after a specific act that you think would do well or is doing well or that you want booked.
Okay.
But I would say a lot of it is based on routing.
Okay. So is the routing, you're not planning that? That's like the booking agent?
That's the booking agency, yeah.
And so they will just kind of contact you whenever you're along the route?
Yep, basically. Me and other promoters in the city or in the state, whatever. But basically, most of the tours that hit here are being routed by a booking agency.
Okay.
A lot of the times I'll look if there's like a gap on an already announced tour, and I'm like, oh, Cleveland could fit perfectly here. We have the date. I'll reach out. Other times it's, hey, I would love to have this artist here. Keep us in mind when you are routing a tour. That kind of stuff. But most of the time it's definitely route based.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
So how would you like sell the House of Blues to one of those routing people? Like if you really wanted a band?
It's definitely easier because we're an established brand.
Yeah.
So a lot of people know the name already, and we're a Live Nation venue, which helps in that process as well because it's more like a trustworthy. You can guarantee that you're going to be paid what you promised to be paid, and contracts are involved and all that stuff. So it's easier. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about like smaller places or anything. But it does help that we're established and that they don't really have to do too much research into looking into the venue.
Yeah, I was interested to hear about the Live Nation and House of Blues merger kind of, or ownership of the House of Blues. So you said you're an employee of Live Nation?
Yeah, so I work for Live Nation. House of Blues is just one of the venues that I book. So I'm not technically a House of Blues employee.
Right.
I'm a Live Nation employee that books the venue.
Okay.
But Live Nation does own House of Blues.
Yeah. What do some of the terms look like between that relationship between Live Nation and House of Blues?
I think everything's really under the same umbrella, so there's really not anything that's like different. It's just all operates.
Okay.
We all operate the same as
Yeah.
like all the Live Nation venues now.
Okay.
So it's nice. I mean, it's nice having like a network of people in other markets that
Mhm.
we can kind of bounce ideas off of and stuff, like other talent buyers. And
Yeah.
like I'm very good friends with people in Detroit, Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
Chicago. So it's like easy if we're all working on the same thing to kind of like brainstorm with each other and
Yeah.
kind of figure out what we're all doing together.
Okay. Yeah. How many other talent buyers are are there?
There's a lot.
In the region, yeah.
Our region is called the Great Lakes,
Mhm.
so it's basically just Michigan, Indiana, Pittsburgh, and Ohio.
Mhm.
So that's in Kentucky also. So that's kind of like the group that I work with the most.
Mhm.
In that group, there's probably 8 of us
Okay.
total, maybe less. In Ohio, there's only 2
Gotcha.
right now. So just me and Michael Balkin is the senior buyer
Okay.
in the region. So.
Mhm. So you just got your allotted venues then, or do you have like a
Yeah, so
specific territory?
we're all kind of assigned to venues. We can go into other venues too, like I said, like third party venues. So I can do stuff at the Grog if I want to team up with
Mhm.
them, or I could do stuff at Mayhouse if I want to team up with them.
Mhm.
But we're basically all assigned like our own like Live Nation venue in
Okay.
each market.
Okay, interesting. Okay, that's some really interesting stuff about
Yeah.
Live Nation and being a talent buyer. I was interested in how you got into the music industry.
Yeah, I've always been pretty into the music scene. Growing up, I would say probably like since I was like 13, going to like punk shows and
Mm-hmm.
friends bands and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But once, I mean, I would say probably near the end of high school is when I kind of figured that I could have a career in music. So as we talked about before the Grog, I did my high school senior project or
Mhm.
whatever at the Grog shop. So I just spent a couple weeks there doing whatever, just kind of shadowing the business a little bit.
So you did a senior project on the garage shop? What was
Yeah.
that?
So we each like picked a profession or like somebody to shadow
Uh-huh.
for our senior project. So
Oh, okay.
a lot of people did like construction or like scientist, like that kind of stuff. I
Right.
went the music route, so I did it at the Grog,
Uh-huh.
which is how I met Kathy. So I did that, and then from there, I went to Kent State. I joined the radio station. The first year, I just did a radio show. The second year, I got more involved with like the promotion aspect.
Okay.
So I was the I don't even remember what the title was at this point. Promotion director, probably.
Okay.
So that handled handled like doing giveaways with venues. I booked our yearly like Black Soul Radio Presents concerts and stuff. So that was actually the first show I ever booked was that. It was 10 years ago in December. I just saw that pop up. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So that was Black Soul Radio Presents, and then after that, I became the general manager of the radio station. I got involved with a independent promoter in this area called Bravo Artist.
Okay.
So they own Mayhalls in Lakewood.
It's Mayhalls? I thought it was Mahals.
It's
They
both.
change it all the time.
Everybody says it differently.
Oh,
There's like
God.
little tip jars with how do you pronounce it type situation.
Got it.
Yeah, everybody pronounces it differently. I used to say Mahals, now it's stuck as Mayhalls.
Okay.
But yeah, so I worked for them for a while. I was the marketing director for them.
Mm.
And then after that, I got the junior talent buyer job here, and that's kind of the rest is history, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So junior talent buyer, does that mean you're below?
Yeah, I was
somebody,
working
or?
under somebody.
Okay.
So I showed you the Cambridge room. I was doing a lot of I was doing mostly shows in there to start off with, and then I was handling like contracts and doing a lot of paperwork and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that was just for the first 2 years, and now for the last 7 years, I guess, I've been doing just the main bookings and everything.
So when you went into the grog shop and did your senior project, did you have like a position in mind that you specifically wanted, or?
No, I kind of wanted to be, I don't know, I always wanted to either work for like a record label or I was a journalist major when I first started college, so I kind of wanted to like write for a magazine. I always thought Alternative Press was like a cool magazine that I would want to work at because it was Cleveland based.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't pan out well. I didn't really vibe with the writing aspect. And then I switched to public relations, which was kind of like, once again, like, oh, it would be cool to do PR for like a record label or something like that. I kind of just fell into I honestly never really saw myself as a talent buyer or booking shows until I did it the first time.
Yeah.
And then once I did it and I realized what could happen out of it, I kind of switched my gears a little bit. But I always thought I would end up in like the marketing, PR aspect of things, and I really didn't ever do that for more than a couple months. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What type of skills would you say that you have developed as being like a talent buyer? Like, what are some strengths of yours that brought you to realize like, hey, I should be doing this, that I'm good at it?
Talent buying and kind of, I mean, the music industry as a whole, I would say, is basically just network based. So it's all about building relationships, getting along with people, and kind of just being like the guy or girl or whatever that somebody wants to reach out to.
Right.
So it's not, I mean, it's really gambling. It's like professional gambling.
Okay.
Is what I like to say talent buying is, because you're basically just rolling the dice on, you're paying a certain amount and you're hoping that a certain amount of people show up to cover the cost. So there's not really, I mean, there's obviously like it takes brain and thought to do that, but there's not really like a specific skill to it that you learn. I think it's more developing like strategies over time and I don't know what I'm trying to say really.
Like thinking on the fly type or
I mean,
on
there's
the fly?
There's definitely like research that you have to do and like things that you have to look into. But more so, I would say that building your network is the most important thing in the music industry for sure.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about, some good memories of being a talent buyer. Like, what are some shows that you've worked with that just stuck to your head and were really cool shows? Yeah.
Well, I would say probably the biggest show that I've done since I've been here is the Foo Fighters.
Fighters?
Yeah, it was like the day before the Rock Hall induction. They played a show here.
Okay.
We announced it like the day before the show. So it was like very limited. Obviously, they play arenas and stadiums, so them playing here is a very cool thing.
Oh, so you announced it like to the public the day before the show?
Yeah, sold out instantly, obviously.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So that was a really cool. I got to shake Dave Grohl's hand, which was awesome. It was COVID time, so it was still a little weird back here.
Okay.
Being backstage because nobody wants to be around each other, and obviously the bands don't want to get sick. But he was very nice and shook my hand, and it was very cool.
Yeah. So did the audience, were they like masked or socially distanced?
No, it wasn't like that soon after. It was like shows were back for sure.
Oh, got it.
But it was still like that. Like during that time, bands back here, it was very like staff has to be masked. Everybody's got to be socially distanced back here as much as possible because the bands that are on tour aren't trying to get sick.
Right.
But like it was nice back here. It was cool.
So you get to hang out with the Foo Fighters?
Not hang out, I wouldn't say, but I got to shake Dave Grohl's hand for 2 seconds, which is cool. Another one, we had Angels and Airwaves back here a while ago. Tom DeLonge from Blink-182's side project. Okay. So I got to meet him, which was really awesome. Had Rob Zombie here like forever ago. Got to meet him, which is really cool. And then, I mean, I've just gotten to book a lot of my favorite bands. The first show I ever went to here was Less Than Jake, and it was in 2008. It was the first show I ever went to. So getting to book them now is like a cool full circle. Yeah. They're coming here in June, but I booked them a few times since that. I just got to book Streetlight Manifesto in November, which is like my first favorite band. So that was cool that I finally got to book them. There's it's countless. Yeah. It's really cool sometimes. I mean, there's hard parts of the job, but like being here and seeing the audience happy and getting to see bands that you love, it ends up being pretty cool. So yeah, it's definitely, I don't take it for granted for sure. So you'd say, I was going to ask what the most rewarding part of the job was, but so basically like audience. I would say, I mean, if I'm doing the shows and I'm not at the show, it kind of can just seem like it just went by. But if you're at the show and you see the audience response and you see how happy people are and you see the band being like I don't, it's rewarding to see the reaction that just like one show can get out of anybody. So
yeah, right.
It makes you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah. And I feel like this place and many other music venues are a huge part of like culture in cities, and I agree with you. Like even when I'm performing, I look at the crowd, I'm like, God, at least you're helping people.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're definitely a cultivator of cultures, and that's why I wanted to come to the House of Blues, because this place is awesome, you know, and everyone knows it. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and all the different genres that you guys do.
Yeah, I try to stay balanced in everything. Don't want to book too much of the same stuff, and you want to make sure that you're reaching all the audiences. So we have a lot of Latin shows, we got a lot of EDM shows, hip hop shows, blues, rock, country, got everything.
So technology, Spotify, TikTok, all of this new stuff that is growing at exponential rates. How do you like work with that sort of?
It's definitely a part of the job. It's also can be deceiving. Like monthly listeners, a band can have 1 million monthly listeners and 20 people can show up to the show. So that's a little deceiving sometimes. Obviously, a lot of those are real, but it's a viral moment is different than like it doesn't always translate to ticket sales. So that's a little tough. An example that's not really related to me or my profession that I can just elaborate from like TikTok. There's a band that I used to really like called Super Heaven that I used to see them play to 50 people tops back in the day. They kind of probably broke up in like 2015-ish, 2016 probably. And then randomly one of their songs went viral on TikTok 2 years ago. And now they're selling out like 800 cap venues. And that is a sign of, it does work, I guess. But it's just weird because it's like 15-second clip of one song, and then everybody listens to the song and then wants to come see the one. It's like, and it's usually just the one song. You know, it's not like I don't know. There's definitely a different crowd of people that come to these shows now that are coming based on like that one viral moment, and they're waiting for that moment during the show. They're not really fans of the band. They're more fans of like the song. And there are stuff. I mean, there's been stuff like that. There's a lot of hip hop artists that like release like the one banger for the summer, but then they just disappear. You know, like the next year, it's like Check West. It's like an example that I think of. The Mo Bamba song was like huge. But it's like it doesn't always translate. It's like the one. Yes, if you book that at that time when that song is hot, the show will be hot. But 2 years later, does anybody still care? I probably shouldn't single out an artist, but I don't think anyone's going to hear this. That matters. I mean, to Mo Bamba, but
I think he had his time.
Right. Yeah.
And it was that one song.
But, but that's it's just strange because like a viral thing could be good, and it could like just be good for like 2 months. I don't know. It's weird. But yes, I don't understand how things get big on TikTok. I don't understand how it spreads like wildfire when it does. But it does. I mean, it does help certain artists for sure. Like I said, like the Super Heaven thing is like I'm very stoked for those guys that they finally they're getting their shot. And it's just based on somebody doing a dumb TikTok video. Spotify, like I said, like if you get on a playlist that's like a popular playlist, yes, your numbers will rise, but does it actually translate? I'm not entirely sure.
So you kind of use those two apps as like a tool for figuring out who you want to book? I
should maybe use TikTok. I don't. I don't want to like get sucked into anything. I think I'm just trying to stay off of it. But I do pay attention if I know that something is like that. And like I have like friends, and my wife can tell me if something's like popping off. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely a tool that you can use to see what is popular, especially with youth. But I would say like, I mean, I still look at like YouTube plays. I still look at Spotify, obviously. It's really like looking at previous tour dates and current tour dates and how the ticket sales are and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, social media, technology, could hurt you or could help you. It's both, honestly.
So, what are you looking for exactly, like, on social media platforms when you go and you, like, what would be, like, an ideal following or marketing on there? What kind of posts? Like, what are you looking for?
I don't know, honestly. I think when I get hit up by an artist, the first thing that you do is check them out. You look at their social pages, you check out a song or watch a music video or whatever. I think from there it's more so, like I said, I mean, if it's like a brand new artist, it's like, yes, you're taking a risk, but you're taking like a reasonable risk. But it's like, hey, if you look and it's like tour admit, all sold out shows, then it's obviously something that you're going to be more interested in. But there's also like bad social media. There's like stuff that you see that is like, maybe you shouldn't do that, or I don't know. It's kind of tough to really navigate.
Do you have any like red flags?
Just like allegations, like stuff like that, like bad press.
Okay.
I try to stay away from that stuff if it's actually bad.
Right.
But that's really only the red flag, I think, that I personally would stay away from. But
smart.
Yeah.
Smart. Okay. I was also wondering if you or any of your coworkers use AI to help you. Not at all.
I don't know if anybody else does. I'm not touching AI.
Yeah.
I have no interest. I'm not interested in it.
Okay. So
maybe it'll be a helpful tool down the road, but
do you think it's so? A lot of our conversations at school are about AI because, a lot of people use it for bad, plagiarizing, and making art and calling it their own, but they used AI.
Right.
And it's a very controversial thing, like artists.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that with school. You could just type in the prompt on the paper and just have it write it for you. It's kind of crazy. I didn't think about that. And
even in the music industry, like we've been hearing things about people
AI
making
songs.
Music with AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I have no interest in it. I'm not gonna. I mean, if I listen to something and I find out it's AI, I probably am not gonna revisit it or like it really. I get it for certain people maybe, but it's not. I don't know. It's not gonna. If somebody used AI and got big off of a song, it's not gonna stop me from booking them per se. But for my own personal taste, I'm not interested.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
If kids are interested in it and want to come see it, then sure, I'll suck it up and I'll book it. But I'm not personally interested in it.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually ever listened to like AI music or anything like that. I think, it's kind of sad that people use AI to make art. Like,
yeah, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
I also don't like that every time I open the internet, it's like a picture that's very obviously not a real thing, and it's like people are sharing it and they think it's just, I don't know, it's eye roll.
Yeah, it's like you look at the internet now and you're like, is this real or is this AI?
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Everything
sucks now.
Right. But we've been learning in school like how to use it as a tool instead of like as a...
It's definitely could be helpful.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, but yeah, I don't know. It's also hurtful, I think. So it's weird. Yeah. It's like that weird middle ground of where do you go with it? But yeah, I don't know.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I guess that's really all.
We're a little hands off. Nothing we can do about it very much.
Right.
So to reflect on your time of being a talent buyer, is there anything that you would change or go back and fix a mistake that you've made throughout your time?
I mean, there's definitely like shows that I've passed on or not gone after as aggressive as I wish that I did. I use this example a lot, and it's probably dated at this point, but one of the first year or two that I worked here, when I was booking the Cambridge Room I still book the Cambridge Room, but when I was just doing the Cambridge Room, I passed on Greta Van Fleet at the time.
Oh Lord!
Which is, it was like their first tour, and I was like, I don't see this being a thing.
So they weren't big yet? Or?
No, they were gonna do the Cambridge room. They went to the grog shop, sold out, but it was just like a relationship that I like missed out on, yeah, because I didn't see it, and I mean that happens though, but that's like one that I specifically can be like, wow, that was dumb, because obviously it would have sold out in there, we would have moved in here, would have sold out, it would have been a cool show, but and then I'm like a big fan of the band Turnstile, and I've been a big fan of theirs for a while, and there was a moment where they're huge now, but they were bubbling, and I was like, they're not big enough to play House of Blues yet, like I'm not gonna go crazy after this, and then they immediately just blew up right after that, and I could have definitely done the show here, but stuff like that.
Do you think you could get them now? Like,
no, they're too big now.
Okay.
But I missed the opportunity.
Okay.
But it's all good. Stuff like that happens all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. But as far as like my career and like my career path, I think I'm just lucky to have gotten here, and still some days I don't understand how I'm in this position. I still think about like being up in the not bleachers, but up in the seats at that Less Than Jake show in 2008, and just being like blown away by everything and how cool it was, and then wanting to come here all the time and see shows and going to the Grog and going to the Beachland, and just like I think back to then how much I loved and still do love music, and that I just get to do it for a living. It's really awesome. So I honestly don't have any regrets really at all. So.
No regrets.
No regrets. I'm all good. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
To give advice to, someone like me who's also interested, kind of like how you were, like that's kind of how I feel whenever I go into live venues. I'm like, whoa, I want to do this all the time. Like, how would I be of help to, like a venue like this, or how should I offer myself in the music industry?
I think going back to like the networking aspect, like doing this, what you're doing right now is very important, and doing it with multiple people like you already are. Just becoming kind of like a face and like a name that people start recognizing, because like I would never feel like you're bothering anybody.
Okay.
Like try to stay involved as much as you want. Meet as many people as you can, be around as much as you can. Not like don't like kill yourself over it, but like just stay involved, and like if you think that you can run with something, run with it. Even if you mess it up, it's not gonna really hurt you in the end. Okay. I think it's more important to be there, and like I said, meeting as many people as you can, reaching out to as many people as you can, being involved with your local scene, like local bands, supporting everything. It's just being around, really, and being a face, and just meeting people. Yeah. And depending on what you want to do, just chase after those people that are doing what you want to do and be around them, and you'll eventually learn and be able to do it. So
cool.
Yeah. Networking is really everything, though.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Absolutely.
Okay, so one final question, and probably the most important of all of them. What's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Virgo. I only know this because of my wife tells me, so I don't know anything about that. But
this is a question for the girls watching.
Yeah, but yes, I'm a Virgo. September 16th.
September 16th. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, my wife's a Pisces. My daughter's birthday is on Wednesday next week. So, what is she? I don't know. She's not a Pisces. What's after Pisces?
I believe Aries.
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Yeah.
And then the other daughter's in January, whichever the before Pisces is. So. Capricorn. Right.
Or
maybe.
Late January or early January?
Early January.
Capricorn.
Okay.
Yeah. Capricorn, and then Aquarius, and then Pisces.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Virgo,
all right. Well, thank you so much for
thank you. Yeah.
filming this with me. It was great to hear all that insight from you. So.
Yeah. Cool. No
Cheers.
problem. Cheers.